Doctors' use of cesarean section chapter to supply babies has almost doubled in 15 years to achieve worrisome scale in several countries, a research says. Rates surged of on 16 millionth born, 12%, in 2000 to an alleged 29.7 millionth, 21%, in 2015, the paper in the Care magazine The Scalpel told. The nationality in the highest bet for with the surgical to help birth is the Dominican Republic in 58.1%. Doctors say in lot cases the use of the care order is undue. Before newly, the Planet Public Health Organization, WHO, offered how cesarean section chapter, or C-section, rates of more than rather than 15% were undue. The research analyzed information of 169 countries with statistic of 2015, the largest latter year for that the data is accessible. It says down there is an above reliance on cesarean section chapter procedures, while surgical is utilized to assist in a hard childbirth, in more than rather than part of the planet's nations. Researchers informed a bet of more than rather than 50% in the Dominican Republic, Brazil, Egypt, and Turkey, although Brazil executed a politics in 2015 to bring the quantity of cesarean sections executed by doctors. They as well found enormous disparities in the use of the method among wealthy and impoverished nations. In several occasions, especially in submarine Saharan Africa, the surgical is inaccessible while it is truly required. Use in 2015 was up to 10 times more than common in the Roman America and Caribbean area, at 44% of born, rather than in the Western and Center Africa area, wherever it was utilized in fair 4% of cases. The research urges health professionals, female and their families to just select a cesarean section while it is necessary for care reasons, and for more than formation and learning to be proposed to scatter several of the concerns nearby birth. A cesarean section chapter can be a lifetime saving order for both of mom and baby if, for example, an infant is in an uncomfortable stance in the uterus or if labor is not progressive as it should be. In special, C-sections include a more than complex restoration for the mom, and conduct to scar of the uterus, that is related in hemorrhage, anomalous growth of the placental, ectopic pregnant, stillbirth and premature childbirth in next pregnancies. Professor Sandal says it is essential to mention how these are little but severe risks, but every of these risks increases in every period a female undergoes the surgical. Down there is growing testimony how babies unborn via C-section include various hormone, natural, bacterium and care exposures for childbirth, that can finally change their public health. The length-term risks of the are not so researched, the brief-term effects involve changes in immunity growth that can growth the hazard of allergies and asthmatic and change the bacteria in the innards. Down there is the hazard how comes in any kind of surgical, Professor Sandal told, addition how repeated cesarean section procedures conduct to a high hazard of parent mortality rate while compared in a nature childbirth. It is key how female who requirement cesarean sections are capable to accessing the potential lifetime saving order, the WHO advises, addition how it is alike essential how superfluous procedures be avoiding so female and their babies are not put at hazard. Professor Sandal says how reasons differ of nation to nation and how in poorer nations, options are very bounded. Globally, drivers for the growing rates differ among countries and involve an absence of midwives to hinder and discover problems, losing of care skills to surely and correctly visit a potential hard vulval supply, as medical legal issues. She adds how finance incentives already exist for both of physician and clinic in the confidence of planned daytime deliveries, particularly in individual practices. In several cases the tendency is framework-driven. In Brazil, for example, the complementary social health framework is of poorer quality assurance, and pregnant women mothers who can't provide individual health might be proposed the order to assist precise patients more than rapidly via the framework. In China, a lack of midwives can outcome in an absence of screen, importance not just how required care checks are not creature transferred of, but how down there is a absence of specialist assist in helping birth. Change exists during countries among the city-rich giver childbirth in individual means wherever down there are top rates of caesarean section chapter and the village impoverished out of accessing to the order, Professor Sandall says. This question for female is how do you schedule? Professor Sandall says. Hypothesis: how blames mothers for the top caesarean section chapter bet, each since of their impoverished public health, e.g., adiposity, hypertonia, or since they are needing medically superfluous caesarean sections due to terror or disinterestedness in labor ignores the broad system issues. How driving the increasing trust on caesarean sections, pregnant woman mothers must include accessing to vocational and aware consultation in procedure to do a judgment. She adds how the attention must now be on provided more than frontline personnel at means in countries wherever the question is of big anxiety. We requirement to begin work in insurance coverage companies in these countries to assist in the regulation of services and personnel, as so as behavior in regional and domestic governments to put in health. A caesarean section chapter is while a infant is brought by manufacturing a surgery cut in the stomach and uterus. They drop in 3 categories: convalescent of caesarean section, surgical normally conducted much longer rather than of a nature childbirth. The injury ultimately forms a scarring.